golden brown for the Northants 4x4 response, part of the Northants emergency response call. Driving in wintertime can be difficult and winter conditions take their toll on your car. Spending a few minutes doing a few checks before you set out will save you from a breakdown and make your journey easier. The first thing to check is underneath the bonnet. Under the bonnet, if you work from one side to the other, you won't miss anything. You can check that all your fluid reservoirs are between the maximum and minimum marks on the power steering, coolant or power steering, if you can see them. Some of the manufacturers mark their components in yellow for the things that you need to check, for example on the dipstick. The oil should be between the maximum and minimum marks on the end of it. Too high or too low and it can cause engine damage. If you do need to top up the oil, speak to a garage to find the right oil for your vehicle. They're not all the same. And if you do need to top up the oil, you should find a filler somewhere on the top of the engine to top it up through. The most common cause of breakdowns in winter is electrical problems caused by a weak battery. Batteries don't work so well in cold weather, and we're asking a lot more of them by using the heating, heated windscreen, heated seats and the rest of it. If your battery is older, check its condition. Many places will do this for free, and quite often batteries now will have an indicator spot on it which will tell you whether the battery requires replacement or not. It's not expensive to replace and it can save you from a breakdown at an awkward moment. Something else that tends to get forgotten is screen wash. When the roads are dirty and salty, we use a lot more of it. Make sure you keep yours topped up with a good quality screen wash so that it doesn't freeze and it works well to clear the salt off your windscreen. If you've got rear windscreen wipers or headlamp washers, you'll use a lot more fluid than if you just have windscreen wipers. With the underbonnet checks done, there are some other things that you need to do before you set off. Perhaps the most important component on the car, particularly in winter, are your wheels and tyres, as they're the only thing that keep you in contact with the road. Make sure the pressure is set to the correct manufacturer's setting. Too high or too low will affect how well the car grips the road. And make sure you've plenty of tyre tread as well. The legal minimum is 1.6mm, but in wintertime you want at least 3mm to ensure you get good grip. You can use a coin or a tyre tread gauge to measure how deep your tread is. Before you set off in the morning, if your car's iced over, make sure the windows are completely clear. The best way is with a scraper and some de-icing fluid. Don't use your windscreen wipers because the ice on the screen will damage the rubber blades and then you won't be able to clear the water off it if it later rains. And if the sun is low and the road's wet, the glare off it can make it very difficult to see. A pair of polarising sunglasses will solve the problem. And they don't just make you look good, they help you see where you're going as well. When driving in bad conditions, you need to plan ahead and anticipate more than you would do when the roads are dry. If the roads are wet, you need to double the distance between you and the car in front to around 4 seconds. If the roads are icy and snowy, you need to increase that by 10 times to around 10-second gap between you and the vehicle in front, so you've got room to stop should anything happen. If you drive smoothly and anticipate the conditions, drive at an appropriate speed, you won't get yourself into trouble and you'll stay safe on the roads this winter.